Good morning to all present here. I am Ramya Devi working as Assistant Professor in SNS College of Engineering. So I am going to share a small article regarding entity relationship model. So the entity relationship model is an important concept in the DBMS. So whenever we are planning to design a database, the first step is we will get an requirement analysis from the user, so which we understand what type of data should be stored in our database. And then the next step is the conceptual design, the model, which is used at this stage, so in which we will identify the entities and relationship from the requirement analysis, and what information about these entities and relationship should be stored in the database, and what are the integrity constraints or business rules that hold a database schema in the model can be represented pictorially using diagrams, and the can map an diagram into a relational schema. So next is the convert the conceptual database design into the data model underlying the DBMS chosen for the application. So next is the schema refinement, normalization. Check relational schema for redundancies and anomalies. And then the physical database design and tuning. Consider typical workloads and further refinement of the database design. Example, build indices. And then the application and security design. Consider aspects of application beyond data. Methodologies like UML often used for addressing the complete software lifecycle. And this is the model basics, in which entity is a real world object distinguishable from other objects. An entity is described using a set of attributes. A collection of entities of the same kind is called as entity set. Example, all employees. So the employee can be a permanent employee, intern employee, or a temporary employee. So all employees will come under the same entity set. So these are called as an entity set, and all entities in an entity set have the same set of attributes, because each employee will have an SSN number. Either he is a permanent or a temporary or an intern employee, he will have a permanent number, SSN number, name, and then the department which he is working for. And each table or each entity set will have an uniquely identified entity called a key. So each attribute has a domain. And then this is the relationship. So association among two or more entities. Example, Peter works in pharmacy department. This is called as a relationship because Peter is working for a department called pharmacy. And then so employee works in department will have. So employee is an entity and then department is the another entity. So each has been associated with the relationship called works in. So here Peter works in the department called pharmacy department. So next comes the relationship set. So collection of similar relationship, an n-array relationship set R relates n entity sets E, and each relationship R involves entities. So same entity set could participate in different relationship or in different roles in same set. Relationship sets can also have descriptive attributes. Example, the since attribute of works in. A relationship is uniquely identified by participating entities without reference to the descriptive attributes. Next is the key constraints. So the key constraints of the relationship entity model is one to one, one to many, many to one, and many to many. So consider works in is a relationship. An employee can work in many departments. A department can have many employees. So this is the association between the two entities called employees and then the departments. So the first comes is the ternary relationship. So ternary relationship, each employee can work and is most in one department in a single location, is called as ternary relationship, and this is a diagram depicts the ternary relationship. So employee works in departments, and then even though the relationship also has attributes called location and then the name. Here there is an employee SSN number and then works in the department. So next comes the participation constraints. Does every department have a manager? If so, this is a participation constraint. The participation of departments in managers is said to be total versus partial participation. So there are two types of participation. One is total participation and another is the partial participation. So every department must have at least an employee. Every employee must work at least in one department. There may exist employees managing no department. So this is called as a total participation and partial participation. So next comes the weak entities. So weak entities. A weak entity can be identified uniquely only by considering the primary key of another entity. So owner entity set and weak entity set must participate in a one-to-many relationship set. Weak entity sets must have total participation in this identifying relationship set. Example, transaction number is a discriminator within a group of transactions in an ATM. So here the transaction number is alone is not an attribute because it is a weak entity, because whenever a transaction happens only a transaction number is generated. So this entity is called as a weak entity. So the entity relationship will be continued in the next video. Thank you.